Welcome back, and we're moving into our second conversation for today as we're joined by representatives of the Welcome Resource Center in Belize. We're joined by Joyce Ellis, who is the administrator for the Welcome Resource Center, and we're joined by Kathy Esquivel, who's the chairperson of the Welcome Resource Center, and it is going to be your fifth anniversary already. Wow.
And we're
congratulations.
Still open.
And still very much needed. So
Absolutely.
we have to backtrack, of course, and talk about the beginning of the Welcome Resource Center. And for those who aren't acquainted with the work that you do, how it got started and why.
Okay, well, it was a project for the Mental Health Association, and we do work closely with the community mental health program of the Ministry of Health. And what we recognize is the Ministry of Health is really doing a great job with community mental health. They have their nurses that go out and visit people. They have nurses psychiatric nurses in every district. Yeah, there's more that could be done, but really Belize is a model for the way to go. But we recognize that a lot of people need more than medicine.
Yeah.
They don't have any social support. And so the idea was we are a day center, a drop-in center. We don't provide medication, we provide social support. We don't have clients, we don't have patients, we have participants. And they come, and Joyce can tell you what happens.
They come from 9 until 3, they take a shower. If there is breakfast, we give them breakfast. The breakfast is optional because it comes from the staff. In the morning, whatever we have left at night, and in the morning we would serve it for breakfast for the participants who come. But the lunch, they definitely get lunch, a change of clothes. They have some leisure time where they could play games, they could watch television. We have where we talk current events. And we just socialize during the day.
Why is this essential? What we're talking about is what people deem the homeless population.
Yeah.
And there are still some people who say, oh, they should be put in a shelter, and that they should be off the streets.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
People have a right to dignity regardless of who they are. And it's also cost effective. It's much cheaper to help people to live productive lives independently than to lock them up. So even if you only want to go on economics, it costs a few dollars a day to provide these services. It costs much more to put people in prison or into an institution. But basically, and I know you're on the Human Rights Commission, it's a human rights issue.
Yes.
People have a right to try and seek the best quality of life that they can.
Yes.
I mean, we have certain rules. We have a lot of people with substance abuse issues, which is a mental health issue. And if you're high, you can't come into the center that day because you might be too disruptive. But you know, you can live a productive life. So also we feel that by giving people an option, we're actually making other people's lives better, because these people are not standing outside your shop begging all day. They might go because unfortunately we can't afford to give people supper, so they might have to start begging later in the day.
Yeah.
So we're helping lots of different issues, but mainly the idea is that everybody deserves dignity.
Yeah.
What are the numbers like though? How many people per
To our center, we have a total of 600, a little past 600 registered to the center. Because when you come, you're registered.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even if you have come there once, your name is there, your information is there. We do have our regular participants, so between 40 to 45 daily.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a
Now,
lot.
Joyce, managing this place day to day, you get to interact with the participants
Yes, I
and
do.
really find out what their stories are, because we just make assumptions when we drive past and see them not working, not having a place to sleep. What are some of the reasons why people in Belize City, because that's where the resource center is based, why are they homeless?
Maybe we should mention, and this will come up,
Yeah.
the numbers. Almost all of our participants are male.
Yeah.
Wow.
The most are male. So we
Yeah.
have a high male population. But for some of them, for example, if I go into categories, we have the deportees. They have been to America since they was a child and they were sent back home. No,
And they have zero connection home.
nowhere to go. They would ask us questions like, you know where this area is? And then when we try to take them there, they can't make that association because it was years ago.
Wow.
So we have that situation that we have to deal with. We also have the idea of the addicts because they are also mentally ill. And those are the ones who are more regular because they are sure of a meal and a change of clothes.
Yeah.
Then we do have the ones who suffer like the schizophrenia and depression and things like that. And we do have the ones who have somewhere to live, but it's like probably under their family house or things like, or sometimes it's their own house. And because of their mental condition, they would say, you know what,
They don't want to go
he or
there.
she has to live downstairs and not in the best condition. So they prefer to come to us during the day and then they go there in the evenings.
How many of these people are transient? How many just come in for a short time and then return back to a quote-unquote normal life?
So far, to date, I can say we have 6. 6 that we had reintegrated back into society. And we have 1 that we managed to get back to the States.
Okay.
With family.
With
that he
family.
has there.
Yeah. Wow.
And we have 1 that we have made connection with a daughter who he haven't seen from she was born. So she came for the Easter, she was 33, so she haven't seen him for 33 years. So we made that connection via Facebook and things like that.
Why do you think that it's, of course, you know, the fact that the majority of them are males, or if not all of them are males, is a big alarm bell for me. But why do you think the females aren't?
I think it's socialization. Women, for most of their lives, have been involved in caring for other people. For whatever reason, men are often absent from their families or moving between family and family. And so very often men don't have those kinds of connections. Plus, I think when it comes to substance abuse, probably, and the greatest problem is alcohol.
Alcohol.
I mean, so when we talk about substance abuse, in Belize, alcohol is probably the primary substance. And again, for whatever reason, you have more men involved than women. So it's an issue that has to be dealt with because men are missing out. So it's not a question of blaming men, it's a question of saying, hey, you know, so we're doing something wrong. Men are missing out on this closeness. I got 5 picnic and none of them kept, but they weren't there.
They didn't build the connections
But the
early.
mother was probably there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the explanation. You'd have to get experts.
Yeah.
But certainly it's true that we have more men than
So
women.
they do know they do have children, they
Yeah.
just don't have relationships
Yeah,
with them.
they do have children and they have a relationship, but the children just don't want to be bothered with the other stuff. You could call them and say, you know what, your dad isn't feeling well today, and they would come and take him or to the hospital, and then they would come and bring their medication and let you know that but that's about it.
Yeah.
Anything else, you have to do, or I don't want to hear about he today if you call and things
Yeah.
like that.
That was another aspect of it that concerned me, or I was curious about, in terms of what is the approach of the center to family members? Because I know it's daunting to actually deal with all of these versus 45 a day.
What we do, when we do our intake, we get information, and you'll ask who could we call in the case of an emergency or so, and we make connection with, and it all depends on the tone of the individual on the line. that if I call and I say, for example, that I'm asking about Mr. X, where there? Is there a station? And then you already know that the way how you have to deal with them is gradually that you talk and, oh, he's here at the center, and you explain and things like that. Then you have some who really want to know where their family members are. And you call and they would come and see them and they would say, you know what, miss, if he's not here on a particular day, could you please let me know so that I could go and search for him or her?
Yeah.
While you have others who are very much interesting, but the individual themselves don't want them to be interested in them.
This initiative coming out of the Mental Health Association, I think obviously speaks to the need in having people who suffer, whether it's from substance abuse or other mental illness, maintaining their dignity and being safe. Because we've seen terrible crimes take place with this population as well.
Absolutely.
And major exploitation.
Yep.
When you talk about being able to keep a center open for 5 years, catering to a population that will never be able to pay you a dime, and will always expect to go there and get a meal. How do you manage it? Where are you getting your support from in being able to keep your lights on, your laundromat open so they can have the clean clothes and the deodorant that they get as well, to the food, the water, the juice,
Everything.
the cable?
We beg. We beg. But we do get some regular support. The Ministry of Health is very supportive because they recognize that we are part of the partnership of dealing with the same population. And so they pay Joyce salary and one other attendant.
Okay.
The Ministry of Human Resources, we get a small subvention. We'd like bigger, but everybody wants, so we know that. We also get some pantry program from them. We have other corporate bodies. The Mennonite community of Spanish Lookout has always been very supportive. We get a certain amount of goods from Quality Poultry every month.
Awesome.
And various other corporate bodies help. Our anniversary, which is coming up. By the way, if anyone wants to come to the center, please come by and see it. We're at the end of Vernon and to Bruce Street.
Yeah.
And we have a little anniversary ceremony this Friday, starting at 9:30 to 11. And in the afternoon, the participants will enjoy karaoke. They love karaoke. And
They're good Belizeans.
so, yeah. I can't sing, so I have a problem. But anyway, we beg, borrow, and steal, essentially. We do have a commercial laundromat, which people can come and do their laundry. And then when they do that, we have participants that can earn something from folding. And we are trying to start some other income generation, but the income generation is not for the center.
It's for the participants.
For the participants. So we always need clothes, especially men's clothing. Please, any clothing, and you know, you don't think about it. We especially need underwear and shoes, because often they're not the thing. People wear shoes till they fall apart, so they don't. So if you have a store that maybe has items that they can't sell or they would like to donate, shoes and underwear. But we need any kind of clothing, especially men's clothing.
Joyce, I've been lucky enough to go to the center, and I think it is amazing to see the change in a person when they walk through that door. First of all, the first thing they do is go to the showers. They pick out their clean clothes, like, you know, it's on a rack, and then they go and take their, and it's like a brand new person that walks out. Tell us about what you have seen from the participants. I mean, we are so easy at trying to disassociate ourselves from particular people, sectors, and it's always a them and us type of construct. So I don't know how much people want to understand about what it's like to be homeless in Belize. Tell us what you have learned in interacting with participants the past 5 years.
What I've learned from them is that once you have a routine, for example, when we first started, we came up with the idea that, you know what, you shower first, and then we usually have like meetings with our participants and ask them about things that they want to improve, what do they want, and to just do like an evaluation of the staff and likes and dislikes and things like that. But we, with the participant, have seen changes because patience. Some of them didn't have patience. I mean, when they came in, as they come, they want to take a shower, and we'll say, but somebody's already there. And if the person takes a little bit too long, they get irritated. So we have to talk to them and say, no, you wait your turn, and then we do it like that. As you come, we write your name. So if you're female number 1, you know you could go and take your shower first, and male number 1 and 2 could go and take their shower and things like that. So we keep order, and they are aware of it.
Yeah.
So, for example, because sometimes they're in the yard before 9, so, and they keep order for us, they would say, you know what, miss, he may come first, and things like that.
Yeah.
But, and also for newcomers, they are like the orientation person that you could call on a participant and say, you know what, could you please tell Mr. Arthurs what he is supposed to do?
So they like the responsibility.
Hence the reason why they are participants, because they help us to keep.
They chose the
place.
name. We had a little competition, and that was the name.
Welcome Resource Center.
Welcome, because they said they feel welcome. So, by the way, one other thing we really need an industrial stove. We have a stove, but if anyone knows a way we can get an industrial stove, because cooking for that number of people, and so that's another of our big needs.
Okay.
Don't miss Kathy, there's a huge department store opening on the highway, and I'm sure they're listening. So it's going to come in a big shiny box. Tonight on the news.
We don't care about the box. But yes, we do. We have been begging, and people have been promising, but so far we haven't gotten it. So.
You know what I like about all of this? Maybe it's the human writer in me, but it's a reflection of who we are as a society, because it's not about how we treat the most wealthy or the ones who don't give trouble. It's the ones that we completely forgot about.
Absolutely. And then our participants, I keep saying this, it's not like babies and puppies that are cute.
Yeah.
You know, so
Right?
it's easier to beg
For children.
for children, and not that children don't need things, but it's easy because they're cute. Yeah. And we have to admit, some of our participants are not cute.
But it's also the innocence factor. If someone sees someone who is an alcoholic,
well, why you do that?
Yeah,
you
it's
never had
almost
to
you
do that.
chose this choice. If it was a neglectful father, you chose that reality. And while those are indeed facts, it doesn't take away from the fact that they have needs and they have a right to dignity.
Yeah.
I have always found this to be one of my favorite undertakings in the city, because it really, when you see these people in that center, you can see that they feel that they are not just welcome, but they're like regular citizens. And that must be great after being shunned out in public, to feel like I'm just hanging out on my couch, watching TV, reading books. They love to read. It's fascinating. So we have identified needs of male clothing, industrial stove, always needing more groceries, I'm sure.
All groceries, food, volunteers.
Underwear, I'm sorry, I
We
forgot that one.
welcome people to just come in and
Volunteer.
whatever you can do, whether it's just to sit and talk to people, or you can teach people to crochet, or whatever. I mean, we welcome anyone to come in and do that.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to fundraise. And so we have some fundraising. Now, this is way too early. We're going to be back again.
Yeah.
But in October, which is World Mental Health Day, is the 10th of October. And in October every year we have a banquet.
Yeah.
And it's the Mental Health Association has the banquet, but it is in support of the center.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at Swift Hall, and it's a wonderful occasion. And a lot of people buy tickets, but they say they can't come.
Yeah.
So we say, no problem. And we use those tickets. We have a group come down from Palm Center, and we have participants, and everybody is there, and we get them dressed. Everyone gets dressed up. In fact, last year, someone said, when we were selling raffle tickets, someone said, I thought you said that you had people from the center coming in here. Why you say, yes, they're sitting at the next table. You just didn't know because you thought that they would not look like,
They'd look like vagabonds,
people.
yeah.
So we do that, and it does help to break down stigma and discrimination, that people are people.
Yeah.
So we will be selling our banquet tickets, and then Joyce and some others came up with an idea for Sleep It Out. Tell us
Yeah,
about
that's going to be
Sleep It Out.
interesting.
What happened? I was brainstorming ideas, something different
Yeah.
as a form of fundraiser. So I said we deal with homeless, mentally ill, and homelessness is an issue. So I said to my nurse Bennett at the time, I said, why don't we do something like this? Like, let's do a sleep out. Like being homeless for a night.
Interesting.
The idea of it is that between the hours of 7 and 9, we will build a little hut from our boxes and things like that. We will also be selling night shirts, where you buy a shirt, you pay $25, that's your registration, you
Love
get
it.
your night shirt. And this event will be at the Memorial Park.
We'll have security.
Yeah.
We have security. It would be from 6 until 6. You have a choice if you want to stay the entire time or if you want to leave when you so desire. But the idea is...
And enjoy the blessing of your bed.
But the idea is just for us to raise awareness of homelessness and the things that they go through. The first thing we thought about is security and comfort.
And it gets cold, you know, in front of
And
the
things
sea.
like using the
salted.
bathroom.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
No, there's no bathroom if you're homeless, and so what you're going to do?
So we want to use it, yes, as an awareness activity, but we also want to raise fund from it. It's something different from the ordinary, so I am begging for support.
Okay.
And if you can't, if you, for one reason or another, you can't physically be out there,
We could get someone to
we
sleep
can
for
pay
you.
someone to go in your place.
So those activities come up in October, so we're getting advance notice on those.
Right.
Yes.
But in the meantime, people can still offer their support
Absolutely.
to the resource center. How do people get in touch with you?
They could get in touch with myself, Miss Joyce Ellis, or Miss Shirley Salgado,
Yeah.
202-2511.
Yeah.
They could check our Facebook page, Welcome Resource Center. We also have a website, welcomeresourcecenter.bz.
Okay.
So you could find information, or you could just walk in and have a sit down with us or our participants.
Marlene Joyce is my new hero.
Well, you should check out the center, right? I think everybody should. That's one way of seeing why you should show support when you can. The anniversary is your 5th anniversary. Congratulations.
Yes.
We know you've worked very hard in getting here, from even the long haul to getting the building built, which we didn't include as a part of the anniversary.
That was 10 years.
But thank you so much for coming in, and we really hope that people have heard your pleas for some of the needs that you have, and that they will come knocking at your door to offer them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about an upcoming basketball tournament, so stay tuned.